Hello, my name is Francis Fox. I'm a trained government remote viewer and part of a military mind control program seeking human potential. I'm a lot of different things. Author, I started a movement called the Mantrista Movement. I'm not a happy camper. Um, I have very loudly declared myself to be a victim of sex trafficking from decades ago. And it wasn't just decades ago, but we don't need to go into any of that. And every once in a while, I ask myself, why did I even say that? It came up in therapy 30 years ago. And it's interesting because that triggered something in the three different psychologists I was going to because I had such heavy duty trauma. One of them specialized in victims of torture and prisoners of war. That's the kind of people that I had to work with because of my kind of history. But when I came up with who I had been sex trafficked with when I was under 14 years old, immediately they said they couldn't work with me anymore unless I went to a specialist in military mind control, which was Dr. Colin Ross. And that set up an entire scenario that today is still being used against me. After all, there's something's got to be really the matter with you that you have to go to somebody like that because he deals with people that have been in cults, satanic cults, and other types of cults. And if you look him up, you go, oh my God. But yeah, that was a mind control, what the mind control program was like. And because some of the people that had trafficked me were still alive, and because my control decided he was going to do me a favor and have me take the group here in Miami that was associated with the ones who had trafficked me, take them to court for sexual abuse. Not my idea, not a good idea. The case was interesting. It had two other females that had also been abused by this group. And the problem was that because they didn't want to get into anything more recent, because my goodness, the case got thrown out because of statutes of limitations. But of course, you can imagine what those group of men here in Miami, how they felt about me. And then I think it was less than a year later, my control died, and he was my big protection. He was in Washington, but he was still my big protection. He died. So I got left with this group. And so I continued to talk about having been sex trafficked because it appeared to me, and I don't think I was wrong, that it was my most effective defense mechanism. So last week on Thursday, I kind of lost it in the last chat that we did. And because I was getting really hammered with black magic having to do with my children, da 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 da, and I was really upset. And then the next day, what would be the most well-known sex traffic victim, who was sex trafficked with the prince, and she did win a case, she committed suicide. So I feel that at that point, and I didn't check it, I'm not going to check. This is a process. I'm going to make it through it. But I feel that all of us that are victims, because we're getting so close to when this is all going to come out, we're all getting heavily blackmailed. And I think that that's something that needs to be looked at. Um, what's happening? Because there's a lot of us, and there's a lot of people that were involved in sex trafficking that I can tell you that were there because they were blackmailed. So this whole thing of blame, the whole thing of blame is very important that we understand. This blame game is okay for a certain part of human history, but that time has ended. We're now into not a light and dark battle, but a coming together of light and dark because we all have darkness, some of us worse than others. I'm telling you, a lot of those people that are going to come out as being the abusers were blackmailed into the positions that they're in. And Once you're in, you're dead. You can't get out. And that is the truth. So we're now in this stage of coming together of light and dark. And then once those two come together, we get liberated from the duality, which is the thing that has the planet always such a mess. Interesting that the energy center in the heart chakra, it has its name means no sound. It's the name is Anahata, but it means no sound. And what does that mean? It means there's no hitting up against each other of light and dark, male, female, up, down, good, bad. There's no hitting together. The resolution is there. And the sad part of that brings me to what I want to discuss today, in addition to the map, which is the whole role of spirits. It has been said several times that the Pope was battling spirits at the end when he was in this process of dying. I absolutely believe it. We may find out that that was disinformation, but believe me, I am sure he was battling with spirits because we're all battling with them. There is a new type of spirit that has entered the planet, and it is a parasite type spirit, which means that it comes in, it latches onto you, and it suctions out. And this particular parasite is called Xenos, Zenos, which means stranger or alien, Alien in Greek. The dolphins were the ones who gave me the name. And they suction out your vitality, consciousness, memory, and your intentions. And what is the problem with that? They're coming in mass, and the place that they're hitting the hardest is the heart center. So let me just say that when you have no intentions, this is a problem, because when you're going to cross the street and there's a truck coming, there's no reason why you shouldn't walk off and walk in front of the truck to cross the street. Well, of course there's a reason. You don't want to get hit. But that's because you have an intention not to die, not to be hurt. So then you don't walk across the street when a truck is coming. Your intention at every level determines everything. Where you put your next foot down, where you put the milk in the refrigerator, whether you show up at 7 to do your chat. Without intentions, you have an empty shell. And then they take your memory and then your vitality, and you're empty, but you're intact. So I think that this goes together with that sketch I did the other day that is very scary. No, this is not it. These particular parasites want human bodies, vehicles that are intact, that are not beaten up. So contrary to the zombies that we see in the movies, and those are absolutely real, and they're around, where they're lugging around like this and they don't fit into the clothes, this new type of zombie that we're going to be converted into, we look just fine. Everything is fine. You can't tell from the outside. I sketched this on a couple of people last week, and I was terrorized. This is a person who, number one of them, I did this for 2 people, died. And this is the sketch that came up. And I went, what is that spiraling? It creates a channel. And then the spirit goes up. Okay. And then I got another person in that same chat. And when I sketched her, she was asking me about something else. I don't remember what it was, the issue, prosperity, whatever. And then I could see she had this. And I went, wait a second. I said, do you want to die? Well, I really don't much feel like living. She looked like this. So these parasites that are coming in, no, they're here, but they're coming in even more, masses, particularly into the heart chakra, but actually the entire body. They want clean physical vehicles. The vehicle is what you use to function in the different dimensions. In the physical dimension, this is the vehicle. But I don't look like this in other dimensions. I can actually look like anything I want. And as you've seen in movies, you can have witches and they turn themselves into cats. and they go and they spy on their enemies. That's absolutely accurate and absolutely true. So this is a problem because the bad ETs know how to throw emotional violence, yes, no, viruses on the planet, and several times they have dumped on us a virus for wanting to die. So you have these parasites coming in, and then you have this virus, and most people today are not happy. Why are they not happy? Because we're in the age of transformation. We are not supposed to be happy unless we have achieved everything that we wanted, all the changes that are necessary for us really to be happy, not to be following instructions, not to be living the way we used to live, which we all kind of recognized. Um, we weren't that happy there for whatever reason. We need to be more spiritual now. Our life is not set up for such spirituality. This limiting it to Sunday and going to mass or going to church doesn't work. So you go Thursday night also, that's still not working. So most people are not happy. Then you throw a virus on the planet for people wanting to die, and you've got a problem. That virus is so easy to take care of. You can do it not in a day, you can do it in half an hour. You just do the mantra, even though I want to die, I love and accept myself. Even though I want to die, I love and accept myself. And I suggest that you tell your kids about it, and your family and friends and older people, and just say, there's this lady who's got this chat. She's knows a lot about the other dimensions, and she says that these ETs, they know how to throw viruses, and there's a virus now for people wanting to die. So that when people are a little bit unhappy or they're a little bit depressed, this lands on them, and then they think that they want to die. But you can take care of it really easy. So tell your friends, and if you ever feel like that, just do the mantra, even though I want to die, I love and accept myself. And when you're with people that are down, you can do the mantra. You tell God, this is for them. You do the mantra, poof, and you suction up that energy from that person and that group. You could do it for a group. So we're in a place of a lot of things going on at one time, and times we were told this was going to be difficult. So we have to be very awake and aware, and we especially have to be awake and aware about where our thoughts are going. We were constructed to create reality, and we do create reality. Our mind. We create everything, including the fact that this eyebrow is missing a little bit of hair here, which is really bothering me. I created that. Okay, and everything. This little thing here, which means my health is deteriorating, I created that. So we were constructed to create, and then we were instructed to obey. And that's the problem today. We obeyed our parents, the teachers at school, society, the laws. But meanwhile, all of that is based on what used to be okay for humans, but doesn't work today. People need to love what they're doing, or they don't want to do it anymore at work. Well, that was not the case before. And if you're my age and you look at the young people and you offer them a job or you see them working and they're like, I don't really like this, and you feel like saying, you don't need to like it. Don't you need a job? Aren't you getting paid? Just do it. That doesn't work anymore. We were constructed to create and then instructed to obey. So people my age and some younger than me, you obey, this is the rules, whatever. But that doesn't work for a couple of generations of people that are already around. So all of this has to change. So then we enter the age of transformation and we end up in this mess. And then we have the invasions of spirits that want our physical bodies. They want our physical bodies. They don't want our bodies to rape us. No. We've got plenty of people doing that. No. They want to use our bodies. They want to come in, get poured into the vehicle, into the container, into the sheath. Those are all names of the different energy bodies, some of which look like the physical and some of which don't. And they want to pour themselves into it, and then they can function on the physical dimension. But without a physical body, they can't. So we got to get this taken care of. And the big focus on these spirits, which are the ones we really have to worry about We don't have to worry about the Russians as much, or the Chinese as much, or the illegal aliens, the ones that are crazy and are doing horrible things. We don't have to worry as much about them as we have to worry about these invasions in the other dimensions. Because if you look at the predictions of what was going to happen in the future, the Mayans and the Bible, they didn't talk about Russia or China or economic collapse. They didn't talk about any of those things. They talked about the devil a lot, spirit. So we need to take care of what we need to take care of in the physical dimension. We need to refocus a little bit, having to do with the other dimensions. And then we need to refocus or focus, or really hyper focus on the thing that can take us down, not just in the other dimensions, but on the physical. So on Mondays, I will be giving every Monday at 8, I will be giving a session in which I am going to clear these spirits from the heart center. And it's already been proven that I'm able to clear hundreds of people at one time, because that was an intention I set for myself 30 years ago, 40 years ago. I saw somebody do that, an Indian guru, and I went, a guru from India. And I went, I want to do that. Oh my God, I want to do that. And I can. So on Mondays at 8, welcome to join us. It will be in Spanish, but the clearing is not in Spanish. The clearing is in the other dimensions. So you're more than welcome to join us. And I would like to take a break, go into the map of the United States and the map of Europe, because 2 countries did not have electricity. And then I'm going to go back and read to you what the dolphins had to say about these new spirits. Okay? You don't believe in spirits? You know what? Get with the program. It's not like it's not in every page of the Bible. Maya, everybody, every indigenous culture, everybody. Scientology. But they would charge you hundreds of thousands of dollars of what we're giving you here for free, and what your religions should have been giving you, but they didn't, because you didn't really want to hear all of that. So here we are. So let's go with the map. This is the United States. What? This is not the way we looked last week. Last week we looked great. But last week, look at last week. This is Atlantis rising. And this is when I said, the technology thing, because Atlantis went under. Atlantis was not allowed to continue because it didn't apply. The technological, incredible discoveries they made were not tempered by ethics. They didn't bother to check what it was going to do to humans. We're doing the same thing today. So anyway, this is last week. Creativity is being grounded. I didn't know what this was. This is today. This is black magic in the 4 corners. You do that when you want to take something down, like the Indian medicine wheel in the center, and then Florida, which is helpful friends, lots of black magic. They do not want for Elon and Trump to be friends. They don't want it. Who's they? I don't know. But if I knew, I couldn't tell you anyway. So we do have this green wave here, which is good. This is where we had the Atlantis rising. This is where we had the Mayan pyramids. This is not bad. And this, by the time we get here tomorrow, somebody will have cleared it, because somebody keeps clearing stuff, which is really nice. I don't have to do it. Not great. But what's the issue? What happened? Jealousy. A lot of people that are successful have issues with jealousy. People are jealous because they're successful. They want that same thing. Well, go ahead and why don't you go ahead and kind of follow what that person did, which was work a lot and come up with something new. Okay. So this is jealousy. And then I did Europe, but I suspect I'm not supposed to know what happened having to do with the electricity. And so that did not come up. But Europe, this is all black magic. It does not extend to Italy. Why did they leave Italy out? I don't know. And then you didn't just Poland, Germany, France, Portugal, Spain. What is this? I have no idea. Why would they leave Italy out? I'm glad they left Italy out. We're all in love with the Prime Minister of Italy. But that's not the reason why they left it out. Why did they leave it out? I don't know. I am showing you what I got and telling you that I was not allowed to know why the whole thing with electricity, why Spain and Portugal did not have electricity. Okay, so uh, Estela, is there something that there's a show on Netflix called Evil? There's also a show called Parasites that was supposed to start in January. I don't know if they did. Anyway, um, I was supposed to go back to something. What was that? Ah, the dolphins. What did the dolphins tell me? Let me read to you what the dolphins said. Now, here's the trick with the dolphins. I used to write very long articles from them. First place, I used to go see them in this aquarium with the tape recorder, and I would ask a question. They would give the answer in my head, and I would repeat it in the tape recorder. I don't need to do that anymore. I could sit at my computer, ask them a question. So that's what I did. So let me read to you what it is that they said about these new spirits. I find it a lot more interesting to talk about politics, a lot more, personalities, da 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 da. But that is not what's the most important. And my job is not to entertain you, because I am not doing this for entertainment purposes. I'm doing this to bring to the table stuff that nobody else is going to bring to you, but that you need. Okay? So this is what the dolphins had to say. Give me a second. It will take me a second to find it. Oh, here. It wasn't that long. I have to tell you, the dolphins are very pushy. So I said, can you please give me a Fox protocol for parasites? And then they said to me, stay with us regardless of what we say, because a lot of times I click off because I think that maybe there's an interference and I don't like what they're saying, whatever. And then they made me move on my chair to where my left hip would be firmly anchored on the chair. I'm telling you, they're very pushy and they know everything. So here's what they said. Parasites are spirits that were developed to invade humans to warn of places where there is weakness, like leaky gut syndrome, like head lice, both of which warn that there are issues in that area. The new parasites, the xenos parasites, have different intentions. The intention is to take over, to multiply at a rate unheard of on planet Earth, to simply invade, grow, multiply, and take command of the places they invade and take over. That is the difference between the old parasites that were to warn of a break in the Higgs body, which is the etheric body, and the newer ones who want to take over that part of the Higgs body. In this case, they're really invading the heart chakra. Continuing with the dolphins, what does that mean? The etheric energy body, which you should now call the Higgs body, it's made out of a grid like the Higgs field, was known to be the health aura, and it is and was. So if the invaders are looking to take over the Higgs body, the etheric, then that means health will increasingly be an issue, and support of the health of the physical body will be severely impacted initially, and then eventually all the other bodies. And then I said something, and then the dolphin said, we need to be in charge of this session. Okay. The government knows of this, but the part of the government that had determined nice people do not need this information. So they hide it, which means humans do not have the opportunity to self-correct, to change foods, habits, and living spaces. Humans were not given a warning about these type of spirits nor their invasion. Yes, there will be a new type of zombie, but prior to that, there will be mass deaths from the heart invasions by these spirits. So when you see all of those graphics of people laying face down, showing unprecedented, unexpected deaths, you're looking at the result of parasite invasions of the heart chakra. If you focus on the heart chakra, you will basically save the planet. Okay. And then they went ahead and they gave recommendations. And the number one recommendation is you have to take care of your abandonment issues. And let me read you a little bit of what they say about abandonment so that you can see that it's bigger than a bread box. Okay. You strengthen the heart to protect from these invading parasites. And the first thing you do is you take care of your abandonment issues. And that's with a mantra. This is a partial list of abandonment. Abandonment due to divorce, abandonment due to loss of mother, abandonment due to loss of father, abandonment due to loss of important sibling, abandonment due to children walking away, like when they leave home, abandonment due to loss of an important friend or relative, abandonment due to being an immigrant and not being able to visit your home country, etc. It would be important, this is the Dolphins still speaking, that each individual examine their life from conception, not birth, but conception, and make this list of abandonment traumas, and then do this mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention to create a miraculous purification of all my abandonment traumas. And listen to this incredible. Let's see if I can cut and paste this. I don't know that I'm going to be able to do that. Let's see. Hold on, because this is cute. This is cute, silly, political. Okay, this is it. I can't cut and paste it. Individuals need to know that abandonment has many faces. For the Democrats who lost the elections in the US, the feeling of abandonment has many of them acting out as children, as a child would act out, due to the triggering of the inner child's fear of the opposition and awareness that the opposition will no longer protect their intentions or their agendas. Isn't that interesting? It's true. The Democrats are behaving like little kids. They don't have any protection anymore. So let's go ahead and end this with this mantra. And the Dolphins continued. I'm going to put up the whole protocol, but another part of the protocol is color therapy. And it's green and pink. Those two colors, which are the colors of the heart chakra. Okay, so here's the mantra is okay. You know what? Today I was thinking we really need to protect Trump, but we don't just need to protect him because we need for whatever it is that's going on, which is the leveling of the playing field and making things make more sense and having things be honest and open. Well, he's like our father. And I have thought about that. I have worried for the last couple of weeks, not because there's anything to worry about, but simply because of, oh my God, what if something happens to him? Abandonment. Okay? Um, so there we go. We're going to do 7 minutes. And here's the mantra with the pink medusas. Okay? Pink. Okay. How do you feel? Feel the difference? I only had one spelling error. This is good. Um, Gossip. Still no US mail since August. Adam Schiff. Haven't really seen him or felt him. My handler. Totally active in the other dimensions. Is there going to be a separate police department to police our spirit, our astral spirit bodies? We all have one since conception. And when we die, it separates from the physical vehicle, but it's still around. And it's very reactive. It has big issues with sex, the astral body. That very well known and really very knowledgeable Brazilian Dr. Vieira, he ended up setting up classes in 50 cities around the world to teach astral travel, which is what your astral spirit does at night. And when you die, the astral spirit finishes detaching from your physical body forever. At night, it detaches, does its whatever its thing, and then comes back. But are we going to have separate jails for that? Because I would like to suggest that we put my handler, whose name I cannot mention because his daughter is a lawyer in Miami. She's going to be so sorry that she was mean to me. I asked her twice for help with her father, and all she did was go after me, threaten my kids. She's going to be sorry, but I'm not going to have to do anything to make her sorry. I was asking for help. Okay, so we're going to have to, what do we set up jails? And that's where we have to go back and look at the history of this planet. And we need to stop belittling the stuff that's on cave walls and it's in the hieroglyphics and it's in the pyramids. And we need to get the archaeologists that have been published, okay? And we need to put them in a conference room, all with each other, talking to each other, but not to us. Because what they will do is, I remind you, we were constructed to create and instructed to obey. They want us to obey whatever it is that they found. They set a whole thing. We found this, therefore, and we have to go along with what they found and the therefore. No, let's let them talk to each other. Let them publish and throw their papers at each other. Let them keep their degrees and keep their titles. I don't care. Get them out of the way of progress, because until you understand that mythology was real, we're not going to be able to get our act together, having to do with all these forces that don't look like our physical bodies and have superpowers. By the way, we have superpowers in our third eye. Look what they did to Jesus Christ. They put a crown of thorn. Where? On his third eye. Why would they do that? They're going to crucify him. Why would they put a crown of thorn on his head? Also, symbolic. No, 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 no. All that spiritual information. No, 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 no. So, what are we going to do for jails? Because I'd like to volunteer the first person there. How do you keep somebody in jail who can hop, skip, change shape? I could tell you the stuff that he does at night, except you have no place to put that information. It's outside of your paradigm. It's not outside the paradigm of the black magicians, the really, really expert ones. It's not. But it is outside of the paradigm of practically everybody in modern life. And that's a shame, because we're going to be taken down by stuff that we cannot even see. And it is not going to be China, and it's not going to be Russia, and it's not going to be tariffs. It's not going to be any of those things. I think it is, I want to compliment Trump for doing things that he knows are going to set a lot of people against him. He knows that people don't understand why all of this needs to happen. I believe that what he's creating is a solid foundation, which means we had to get away from a lot of the agreements, a lot of the things that we had, that we wanted, We need to be solidly rooted in our root chakra, We need to look like a solidly planted tree because the winds of change are here. We're in the age of transformation, and too many people are resisting, and we don't even know what the heck is going on. I'm trying to share a bit, but a lot of what I can share, you have no place to put, and you don't trust. I'm setting up all of my events for purifications because they're not classes. I talk very little. In the beginning, I tell you what it is that I'm going to do, which is the same all the time. You do a mantra, and for like 10 minutes, that's all it takes. I go in and I pull out these parasites. I cut the matrix implants. I clear as much as I can of the heart center. And I close this portal here, and that is the one that's open with everybody that has problems with addictions, out of control behavior, wanting to die, want to kill myself. This portal is always open when they have that level of issues. So I close that on everybody. The fee is not that high. Each one has a different price. But don't bother coming if you don't have great instincts or if you don't already trust me. You may not feel anything at all because you may not be in touch with your spirit, which is your emotional, your astral emotional body. And that's not my fault. I'm not going to be arguing with people. We don't give refunds. You sign up, you try it, and you ask God to let you know if this works for you. I know that it works because I can see my work, but maybe it won't work for you. But what I'm saying is, I'm going to put myself out there and open this up. And your instincts, you need to make them operational, having nothing to do with me and these purification sessions. You need to become instinctive because where we're at today, the planet has never been before. In Atlantis, yes, they went under, and we may go under because we forgot the ethics. But you need your instincts. Everything is different. Age of transformation. Because we are not happy campers. So we need the transformation. Like I tell my followers, transformations can be really ugly, and people can be really ugly when they're in a transformation. And that's okay. We're living it. Okay? That's it. Enough said. Love you. We will see you. Bye. Oh, I'm not suicidal, by the way. I wasn't suicidal last Thursday when I was ranting and raving. I don't know what happened to this girl who killed herself. I am not suicidal. In the 90s, I was thinking, gee, maybe I want to leave. I don't think I like it here. I'm not sure I can clean this all up with nobody believing anything. And I decided I didn't want to leave that legacy for my family. And I didn't have grandkids at that point. I'm not leaving that legacy for my family, for my kids, for my grandkids, for my friends. I'm not suicidal. I'm not going to kill myself. You just need to know that. And there's really not anything that can change that. Because I already said it. Because that's what happened last week. We're going to do this to your kids. Kill them all. Those are my last words. Kill them all. I'm not suicidal. Bye.